There's a small valve sitting on top of your engine right now, and there's a good chance you've never once thought about it. Most drivers don't even know it exists, but every mechanic who has worked on engines for more than a week knows exactly what it is and exactly what happens when it gets ignored. It's called the positive crankcase ventilation valve. Mechanics just call it the PCV valve. And the story of how this tiny part changed combustion engines forever is one the auto industry almost never talks about. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this valve fails, what it does to your engine when it does, and how to fix it before it costs you serious money. Let's start with the problem it was built to solve. When fuel burns inside your engine, not all of that combustion stays where it's supposed to. Some of it leaks past the pistons and down into the crankcase, the lower part of your engine where the oil lives. These leaked gases are called blowby gases. They're a mix of unburned fuel, water vapor, and combustion byproducts. Before the 1960s, most cars simply vented these gases straight out of the engine and into the air through a small tube pointed at the ground. Engines were essentially breathing out toxic fumes directly onto the road beneath your car. By the early 1960s, smog in cities like Los Angeles had become a visible, documented public health problem. California regulators began pushing for changes to how vehicles handled their emissions. The PCV valve was one of the first direct responses to that pressure. It was a simple fix. Instead of venting crankcase gases into the atmosphere, the valve would redirect them back into the intake manifold so the engine could burn them again. Clean solution, low cost taste. And it worked. But here's what the engineers didn't fully anticipate. While solving a pollution problem, they had accidentally built a system that also helped engines breathe better and run cleaner internally. The PCV system created a slight vacuum inside the crankcase, which helped pull oil vapors away from the rings and bearings, kept sludge from building up, and reduced internal pressure that would otherwise force oil past seals and gaskets. An engine with a working PCV valve stayed cleaner on the inside. An engine without one, or one with a clogged valve, started to rot from the inside out. So what does this valve actually do mechanically? The PCV valve is a one-way valve. It opens and closes based on the pressure difference between the crankcase and the intake manifold. At idle, intake vacuum is high, so the valve stays mostly closed to prevent too much unmetered air from entering the engine. Under heavy throttle, intake vacuum drops and the valve opens more to let crankcase gases flow through. It's constantly adjusting. That's the part most people miss. It isn't just a simple open-close switch. It's a pressure-regulating device that responds to what your engine is doing at any given second. When it fails, and it does fail, the symptoms can look like a dozen other problems. You might see oil leaks from the valve cover gasket or rear main seal because internal pressure is now pushing oil past those seals instead of being relieved. You might see rough idle because unmetered air is entering the intake through a stuck open valve. You might see increased oil consumption, sludge buildup, or even a check engine light. The United States Department of Energy found that neglecting maintenance on components like this can lead to a 25% loss in fuel efficiency over time. For a part that often costs less than $15 and takes 10 minutes to replace, that's a painful trade-off. The average American spends about $1,186 per year on vehicle maintenance and repairs, according to the American Automobile Association's 2023 data. A clogged PCV valve left alone long enough can eventually contribute to engine damage that pushes repair bills into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. RepairPal notes that valve-related repairs in modern vehicles can range from $500 to over $2,500 depending on the vehicle and the type of valve involved. A $10 part, ignored long enough, can turn into a $2,000 lesson. Here's the part that challenges what most people assume. Many drivers believe that as long as their oil gets changed on schedule, the inside of their engine is fine. But oil changes don't clean out a stuck PCV valve. They don't remove the pressure buildup from blow-by gases. A clogged PCV valve keeps contaminating fresh oil with combustion byproducts, which accelerates sludge formation regardless of how often you change your oil. The condition of your PCV valve directly affects how long your fresh oil stays clean. Most service intervals never mention it. The evolution of this system didn't stop with a simple valve either. Since the 1990s, manufacturers like Honda and Toyota integrated their variable valve timing systems into increasingly complex engine breathing architectures. By the 2000s, engines had become sophisticated enough that crankcase ventilation had to be precisely tuned to work alongside forced induction systems, direct injection, and tighter emissions targets. The simple PCV valve grew into a more complex system, but the core job remained the same: keep crankcase pressure controlled, keep the engine clean inside. As of 2023, engineers developing systems for hybrid and electric platforms have been working on smart valve technologies designed to manage pressure and efficiency in ways that go well beyond what the original PCV concept attempted. The engineering challenge has shifted, but the lesson from that first valve hasn't changed. A small, overlooked component managed pressure, solved a pollution problem, protected engines from themselves, and quietly became non-negotiable in every combustion engine built since. Check yours. It probably costs less than a coffee.